Over the last couple of months, I caught one of the biggest moves in the robotics and the AI space. And most importantly, I got out when everyone else was getting excited. So let me show you how this looked in real life. I was basically on this YouTube channel literally showing you everything about my investments, why I was studying certain narratives like the robotics and the AI space, and I publicly got out as well. So just to make it clear, this was my entry, these were my exits. Same goes for example, Bloom Energy. This was my entry, this was my exit. All done live. Now, a lot of people ask me, how did I know? And the simple answer is I didn't know. But I was just following a core principle of this book, Machiavelli. All right, it's called The Prince, and this book is written 500 years ago. And in this video, I'm going to give you the 3 principles that help me cut these moves because of this book. So let's dive deeper into this. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure that you do it now, because this is the place where you learn about trading from a reality point of view instead of all of the nonsense you see online, like all of the Lamborghini gurus. All right, so let's dive deeper into it. Now, principle number 1 comes to something that I always say on this channel, and this is never outsource your power. One of the biggest problems that we see in the trading space right now is that everyone relies on someone else. The majority of the people who are active inside of the markets, they didn't make up their thesis. So what I did right here is, because I have the skill of investing and of trading, I could see, okay, these sectors have a lot of potential. These sectors at the moment are undervalued. And when I'm looking at the charts, for me, it is at the best point where it needs to be. So what do? I follow my thesis and I go into the markets. By the way, if you want to know how I do this, at the end of the video, go to the free link below where I literally show you everything about how I trade the markets, so you can do this too. It's completely free, no broker signups or anything else. All right. So I am able to look at the markets in this way simply because I have this skill. The majority of the people, they don't have this power. And this is what Machiavelli talks about a lot. Never outsource your power. Because if somebody gave you the conviction, they can take it away from you as well. And this is the problem. If you look into a stock simply because a friend or an influencer or someone else tells you, and you're just going to randomly invest in it, you didn't build up the thesis, but you're simply just following someone. Now, let's say that one dies in a car crash. What are you going to do from there? You don't know. So your money is basically then just wandering down in the markets. Now, this is why it's super important that if you are in the markets, you are the only source of where your information should come from. Your skill should come from yourself and not from someone else. So when you're going to take a look at your entries, your exits, and everything else, never ever outsource your power. Now, principle number 2 is that the reality matters more than the reputation. One of the biggest problems people face is that they marry their stocks, is that they marry their crypto, is that they marry the bags and they marry their investments. What I want you to understand is that you need to see it way more as a lady of the night. Let me put it like that, all right? You were never ever meant to go into the markets with your stock and marry it and never ever sell it. The majority of the people who are currently watching this, you bought the crypto and you bought a stock to eventually gain from this in a financial aspect. This would mean as well that there would be a certain point where you had to sell this. And this is why I always say never ever marry your holdings. And this is what a lot of people mess up with. How I want you to see the hierarchy. The stock, the crypto, or whatever you are investing in has already a relationship. And it has a relationship with the CEO, all right? That's basically the husband. See it like that, yes? Now the husband thinks about money and he says, hey, I'm not really in love with this girl, or maybe he is. And he goes to an exchange and a broker, and they are basically the pimp. He gives them the stocks, and then eventually you are the guy who uses it for the night, all right? How I want you to view this is, of course, you are just getting with her or him for a certain amount of time. That is the whole concept, all right? You are never meant to actually fall in love with that one. What a lot of people do. Because the moment once you fall in love with it, you forget about the whole concept of why you were eventually in there. Now, again, when we're going to take a look at my investments here, I was in from a super early view, all right? I was in all the way from here. So I've had a super great night. That's how you need to see it. Same goes with this one. I had a super great night. But what did I see as well? That at a certain point, it was getting overhyped. At a certain point, I saw, hey, I see quite some things coming out now that I don't really like. I see that everyone right now is talking about this. I see that they are making projections that don't make any sense. Maybe this shouldn't be the moment anymore where I should be in, but maybe this should be the moment where I get myself the question, to who am I going to sell to. Then I'm going to look at the markets and I see, everyone who was supposed to buy it from me because of this bullish news is already in. So this is the moment when I say, hey, I'm not here to fall in love. I'm here to make the money. So let me sell it here and just exit the markets. Again, this is something that was written more than 500 years ago in this book. Reality matters more than reputation. And this comes down to principle number 3. And that is the crowd is your flatterer. What I want you to understand is that you need to be in sectors when no one is talking about it. You need to be in sectors when nobody thinks, okay, this is a sexy industry. Again, just look at the views right here. This is 9 months ago and it literally got 2.9k views, all right? This is 9 months ago and it got 5k views. No one was interested in these kind of topics back then. It wasn't as hyped as it is right now. Right now, you just need to put an AI stamp on a company and the valuation will already go up. 9 months ago, no one was actually looking at it from this perspective, and especially not in the infrastructure. So what did I know? No one is looking at it now, but the moment when they start looking at it and the moment when they start convincing me that it is a good one, while I was trying to convince them 9 months ago, that is a very big sign. So the crowd is your flatterer. You need to use the people around you in the best way. Now you have 3 types of analysis that I want you to understand. We have fundamental analysis. So that is basically, okay, I'm going to take a look at the sector and I'm going to take a look at, okay, is it overvalued, undervalued, what's happening inside of the companies, okay? Then we have technical analysis, which basically means, okay, what is happening on the charts right here? And then we have sentimental analysis. And that is principle number 3. That is the crowd. Where you're going to take a look, okay, when are people ignoring all of my theses? Yes. And when are they trying to convince me? And because of these 3 simple principles, I was able to make these moves. And again, these are moves that for the majority of the people, they got totally outperformed. Why? Because I'm simply just looking at what is unsexy now, that could be super sexy in the upcoming months and no one wants to hear about it now. And then the moment once they start talking about it, that is the moment where we get rid of this. Now this is the video about how I was able to make money for the principles of Machiavelli. And if you like this kind of content, the reality of trading, it's time for you to subscribe to this channel, join the free school, and I will see you all in the next one. Ciao, ciao.